What's up, lords and ladies? Welcome back to another video on this channel. So in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you guys how to tame a bearded dragon. Now, I've done this type of video before, but I figured I'll give you guys an update of what I'm doing behind the scenes right now, because a lot of you guys have been asking me questions because, lately I've been doing a lot of little tiny skits with my bearded dragons, and Wilbur is acting crazy up here, but I've been doing a lot of little tiny skits with them, and a lot of you guys have been asking me, how do you get your bearded dragon to stand still like this, especially in a group setting with other bearded dragons in the shot? And there's certain things that I've been doing behind the scenes, and that's what I'm going to take you guys along and share with you guys what I've been doing. Now, I'm currently still editing part 5 to that series that I have going on this channel. So if you haven't already checked it out, be sure to go check it out. If you're new to this channel, be sure to subscribe, hit that post notification bell button and like button. It does mean a lot. But with that being said, let's just get started with this video. Let's go. Okay, so my goal right now is, now that I have him in a sort of, shoulder level when it comes to this enclosure, what I'm gonna be doing is trying to get him to basically walk onto my shoulder. Now, this is gonna be a lot easier said than done, because Wilbur is definitely not always the most, okay, never mind, I spoke too soon. But basically, by me doing this repetitively, of basically feeding him and letting him walk onto my shoulder. Come on, Wilbur, let's go, come on boy, come on. So allowing him to basically walk up to me onto my shoulder is one way that I've gotten Wilbur to calm down just a little tiny bit. Now, he doesn't always do this, and honestly, sometimes he doesn't ever do it, and it's sort of a little bit hard to get him exactly right where I want him to. Come on, Wilbur, you can do it. Come on. Okay, maybe if I put the whole cup. Come on, Wilbur. But I don't know if you guys remember, but I used to do this a lot with my girl BB, and she used to walk onto my shoulder naturally without any food. So it's something that I've been doing with bearded dragons ever since they were babies. With Wilbur is a little bit tough, because Wilbur, he's a little bit of a crazy boy. He has his moments, he has his ups and downs. He doesn't always listen to me, and one of the things that I really want to get him to do more is basically walk onto me, walk on, on my shoulder, and just feel more comfortable without him going crazy. But I honestly think that this is a first step, and I might change up what used to be BB's enclosure into Wilbert's enclosure. So if you guys would like to see me do a whole entire bearded dragon setup, let me know. Give this video a thumbs up, because I definitely want to transform this into kind of Wilbert's paradise. What used to be BB's enclosure now could be Wilbert's enclosure. Now, something I've been doing for the longest time is actually feeding my bearded dragons together. Ever since that they were a baby, I've been feeding them together, and Brianna over here is acting a little bit crazy. We got Penelope, we got Sansa, but this right here is a little bit more easier to do when there is, just a group of females. Usually females are a little bit more easier, to be in a group, because they don't want to breed with each other, and they're not really as dominant as the male. However, there is some females that are super dominant that would basically try to head bob and try to overpower the other females. But what I've noticed is that when you feed them in a group like this, they usually eventually start developing a habit and start getting used to with each other. As soon as I basically put them down here and just put this tray here, they go crazy. It doesn't even have to be any food in here. They already know that they're gonna be fed. They're not completely unaware of what's happening. They are pretty smart, I would say, for a lizard. So this right here is a great way if you do have some females to maybe get them to get used to with each other. However, I wouldn't house them together just in case there is some sort of dominance in one female that she may not be displaying at the moment, but she might start showing signs later on. So what I would do is little by little just feed them outside of their enclosure in a group like this, but also keep an eye, because at the end of the day, you don't want anything bad to happen. If you see any sort of aggression, end the feeding session. Don't try to make things okay with each other. But you can see right here, these females are basically pretty straightforward. But as you can see, these girls are pretty much used to eating with each other. They don't show any sort of aggression or any sort of dominance that one wants to overpower the other. They're pretty much friends. So that's one thing that you could get into. Each bearded dragon is slightly different, but what I've noticed is that feeding them together usually gets them to be used to being with each other, and they don't want to attack each other because they're basically already full. They're happily eating. However, you do want to give them enough food, because at the end of the day, you don't want them to be fighting for food. But these girls are pretty much a fatty. They don't show any sort of aggression towards each other, which is awesome. It definitely makes it a lot more easier to record skits with them. Sansa over here and Penelope, they have some sort of beef. Brienne needs to come into the mix. I need to put Brienne into the whole entire skit and soap opera. So I'm gonna figure out a way that we could bring in Brienne into it. Maybe Brienne is Penelope's best friend or something. So we're gonna see how we could basically put them together in it. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go check out the playlist that I have already about them. It's super fun to record and basically post and talk about. Okay, so now it's Wilbur's turn. Now, something that is a little bit more trickier to do is to get males to eat with each other. Now, I've done it in the past, but most of the times you cannot do it. And the reason for it, males tend to be a little bit more dominant than females, but there obviously is some times where females are a little bit more dominant than the male. But you definitely want to keep males separate, because males are very territorial, and Wilbur here is definitely one of those males that just wants to be alone. And right now, because I didn't change the towel, and this is also a quick tip, he smells the females. So he probably knows that there's some sort of female presence or somewhere. So he might want to start head bobbing and wanting to look around to maybe try to breed with the females. But because I put food there, he's a little bit more chill and more focused on eating than it is focusing on finding something to basically breed. So I honestly find that feeding bearded dragons, and bonding with them in a way is a great way that you could actually tame them down. And especially if you want to get a second one and you want to have both of them on your shoulder, definitely want to have them well fed. That way they don't try to eat each other, I guess, or try to mistaken their limbs for food. But you definitely want to keep a close eye. It's not easy. You have to learn their behavior. And I would highly suggest that you spend a little bit more time with your bearded dragons and learning their behavior. That way you don't, understand certain signs and your bearded dragons get harmed by basically you having them together and they just don't like each other and you don't realize until it's too late. So right now, Wilbur, he's by himself, because if I placed another bearded dragon here, he would go crazy. Now, in the skit that I've been doing with him, something I've been doing to get him a little bit more used to being around other bearded dragons is basically what you see here. So I have this towel that the females were basically feeding on, and they were all over here. Their scent is here probably, and he smells it. And as you can see, he's like looking around, not only for the superworms, he also probably smells the scent of the females. So it's something that, you know, might not work, but at least he knows that there's other bearded dragons present. And when I place another bearded dragon here, he won't go crazy and try to breed with her every single time. But bearded dragons are living creatures, male and females, they're gonna wanna breed. So it's a little bit harder to try to get them to do things that you want them to do. So at the end of the day, you know, if your bearded dragon doesn't wanna be with another bearded dragon, do not try to force it. But taming them down is super easy. I definitely still have a lot of work with Wilbur, but at least, oh, okay, never mind. I was gonna say at least I could go pet him. But nope, he's not willing to let me pet him. Oh boy. Okay, he's like, do not touch me. But hopefully you guys are enjoying these types of videos. You know, I'm definitely gonna get back into my normal routine of posting about bearded dragons, as well as about, you know, the bearded dragon skit that I'm kind of working on still. So hopefully you guys enjoy it. If you guys learned a couple of things, be sure to like this video, subscribe if you haven't. But for now, that is it for this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I'm Lord of Lion, keep the blood pumping, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Peace.
You gotta hit that notification, hit that notification, hit that notification button, baby. You gotta hit that notification, hit that notification.